Hello everyone, welcome back. I have the very fun and festive Hello Darlin papers on my desk today, and if you were here last week, you might remember I created this single page layout. This was inspired from the Current Close to My Heart catalog. I scrap lifted this page right here. I thought it was so fun and perfect for my photo, so I copied that pretty darn closely. Often when I scrapbook a single page layout, many of you ask what I might suggest to create a companion page or the right-hand side of the layout. I have 6 more photos I want to include to tell this story, so I'm going to share tips on how I turn a single page layout into a double page. I have both of my VersaMats here just to help me get everything lined up. Now I'll bring in a sheet of white daisy for my base, and this piece of pattern paper was gutted from the center of this one here, and I'm so glad I did that, so I'll be able to use it on the right hand side. And I also have this floral pattern paper. This was cut out from in between those 2 segments there. Using the measurements on my VersaMat, I can see that that is going to be long enough. I want it to look like one continuous 12 by 24 layout. So I'm going to use this pattern paper to carry it over onto the right-hand side. I'm cutting this to 2 inches, and then I can trim off the bottom piece. I just want this to be basically a 12 by 2-inch piece, and no one will know that there's a chunk missing behind there. So I'm just going to trim this down. It's amazing what you can do with scraps and some strategically placed layers, and you can really stretch your papers to go a very long way. I'm going to cut this one to 2 inches also. That's going to be 2 by 4, again, just to continue that from the left-hand side. I have used that red and white star paper on the left-hand side. I want to bring that in, so I have a half inch by 12-inch strip of pattern paper to finish that off. And now we've got this great canvas to create a grid. I had 6 photos, so I cropped them into 3 by 3 squares. This is us hanging out at the motorhome, just kind of relaxing. We're barbecuing. As I mentioned in the last video, there was a mountain bike skills park like right there, so that kept the boys entertained all day. And then a couple snapshots of the fireworks from the nighttime celebration. To add some symmetry between the 2 pages, I have cut this to 10 inches tall because that is the measurement of the piece on the left-hand side. And that just kind of adds some visual balance to it. I've got, as I mentioned, 6 3 by 3 photos. I have printed them with the white border, so they're 3 by 3 with the white border. And I'm just going to kind of place these out. I love to dry fit everything, make sure I like it, the finished result, before I start adhering things down. So we brought in that sapphire blue because I matted the photo on the left with sapphire, so I chose sapphire for this side. Creating a companion page is going to be dictated by the size and the amount of photos you have, but as long as you bring in those same pattern papers and colors and decorative embellishment elements, you are going to have 2 pages that flow together beautifully. I'm carrying over those little strips of pattern paper that we did on the left-hand side. So I've got a little strip of red paper and then also this tiny little strip of pattern paper here. Just again, continuing the pattern, making it look seamless. Oops, I want to make sure I get that at the right height there. This layout design also lends itself well if you have even more than 6 photos, because the 3 by 3 squares, you can use a 3 by 3 flip flap to add interactive elements, more photos. You can add more journaling, lots of fun ideas with flip flaps. I have the paperboard shapes here, and I definitely want to use those. I'm pulling out a couple of the bursts that look like fireworks to me. I've used them over in the upper left-hand corner, so we definitely want to repeat those. And let me just kind of look through here to see what we have. I have also introduced florals into my embellishment cluster, so I'm going to grab some more of the floral stickers to add over here on the right-hand side. And I'm going to build an L-shaped cluster framing in the top right-hand corner. This is the largest sticker, so we'll start with this one. And I chose this placement up here because you'll notice I have embellishments in the upper left, moving to the title, and then up again on the upper right, creating that perfect visual triangle. I have this little die cut that says simply the best, and oops, my fireworks are shooting sideways. We don't want that. They'd be shooting into the crowd. Have you ever been to a fireworks show where they go into the crowd? It's bad. It's all bad. Kind of funny afterwards if nobody's hurt, everybody screams and runs. It's happened. I've been to a block party where that has happened, and yeah, definitely don't want to be on the receiving end of the fireworks. Now that I have the largest elements placed, I'm going to go ahead and fill in with smaller elements and just make sure everything looks nice and balanced. We've got lots of room up here. This little gingham heart is cute. We'll stick that little guy right in that space there. You'll notice I am filling in the space with smaller pieces, tying everything together, kind of connecting it and grounding it to my photo block here. I have this one last little flower, maybe there. No, a little too heavy. Let's hang on to that for now. I have this pocket card. It says friends, family, and fun, which is absolutely perfect. And I'm going to cut this into a tag using the buildable tags. The tag shape is a little bit longer. Now I could go like this, or I could flip it. Let's see which way we want this to go. So there's this option here, or we can use the portrait option on the opposite side. And I think I'm going to go with that. So I'm going to die cut this into the tag. Through the magic of video editing, I have my tag. I inked up the edges and added a hole reinforcer to the top. And now we have the perfect spot for that last remaining floral sticker. So I'm just going to add a few leaves, kind of filling in that gap, connecting it to my photo block there. And then I do have some red acrylic shapes. I added just a few of these to the left-hand side. Sorry, I'm off camera just a little bit, but I want to add some of these to this layout. So we have a little heart there. I'm just going to take a minute to get everything adhered down. I did pause the camera. I got my pictures all glued down, and now we can just finish off with the embellishments. I want to add just a little bit of dimension. I've got these 3D foam pop dots here, and they're just the right dimension, not too thick, not too thin. And I've applied them to the back of this flower here. We'll just kind of pop that up. I'll leave the leaves adhered to the layout and just popping up the flower. And then I highly recommend you use the micro glue dots to adhere your acrylic pieces. They work really well and they're super strong. Let me go ahead and get this little guy tacked down to the layout here. And you'll notice I do mention this a lot, but when I'm building my embellishment clusters, I really like to tuck some of the elements behind the photo and some of them on top. And it just really lends itself well to that layered look that we all love so much. Now is a great time to remind you, if you are enjoying this video, take a moment and click that thumbs up button. Thank you so much for doing that. It does help me quite a bit here on YouTube. And let me know in the comments, are you big on celebrating 4th of July? If so, do you have a tradition that you like to do? Do you have a fireworks show? Do you guys barbecue? I would love to hear what your family does to celebrate this holiday. I want to add a little bit of this gingham ribbon here, and my friend here just handed me her giant office stapler here, so I keep wanting to get a tiny attacher, but you know what? This is going to work for now. So I'm just going to attach this with a stapler. I thought it'd be fun. Now, the opposite side, I added little tiny sparkles with the silver glitter stickle gel. So I want to add some of these over to this side as well. This is something generally I recommend you do last because it's super easy to smear if you go to do something else on your layout and then you put your hand in it all the time. Happens all the time. I decided I wanted to add a little bit of stamping. It adds just another element of layering to the embellishment clusters, and it's just a lot of fun. I've got the Hello Darlin card making workshop, and there are several different size the little circular kind of burst. You could use these for lots of different things. I think some of them would make a great sun stamp or just a decorative circle element, parties, but definitely works well for 4th of July. I have my candy apple red ink, and this is one of the smaller little circles. So I'm just going to add a few of these to the embellishment clusters. We'll place one down here. And then I want to place one up in this area here. And you know what? Let me mask this off. I'm going to put a little piece of paper so that doesn't get on my photo. And you know what? I messed it up. You know why? Because I didn't put any foam underneath it. So I didn't get a good impression where the layers changed. But that's okay. I took a sticker from the sticker sheet that says good times and camouflaged it, and no one will ever know. I want to add one up here. I removed that sticker and now I can put that back in. Anytime you stamp, take a second to put the foam underneath it or flip the VersaMat. It really does help. I'm going to add a couple to this size as well. I was going to add some splatter, but I thought, you know what, let's just add some of these little stamped embellishments. And then we'll add splatter, a little controlled splatter. This is a splatter stamp from the Dreammaker collection. Let me hold this up so you can see the stamping, and then here on the other side, lots of fun elements going on in that L-shaped embellishment cluster. Everything I used to create this layout can be found in the description box below. Just click where it says more ... That'll open up and you can find all the supplies along with links to my socials. If you want to see still shots of this layout along with all of my other artwork, you can find them over on Pinterest, Instagram, or Facebook. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. See you soon.